welcome to an exclusive panel discussion by ETRetail. We are doing this panel discussion in the run up to our e-commerce and digital native summit, which is scheduled to happen on 9th and 10th of August in Bangalore. So the topic of today's discussion is driving differentiation across touchpoints using CX. As you know, it has become imperative for the brands to have an omnichannel presence. But the brand which impresses the consumer across touchpoints wins the consumers for lifetime. So today we have with us three esteemed speakers. I'll introduce them to you. We have Bharat Sethi, who is the founder and CEO of Rage Coffee. We have Param Bhargava, who is the founder of T.A.C, the Ayurveda company. We have Sahil Dharia, who is the founder and CEO of Soothe Healthcare. Welcome to the ETRetail discussions today. So without wasting more time, let's ask them about their brands and its presence. So Bharat, tell us about your brand and the presence currently.
So Rage Coffee is currently present across all online channels, our own website, which is a direct-to-consumer channel, Amazon, Flipkart, and all the horizontal marketplaces, quick commerce platforms like Blinkit and Instamart, Zepto, and hyperlocal platforms like Big Basket. A big part of our business is a general trade, which is A+ general trade, kiranas, etc., modern trade outlets, exports. So we, and then institutional and HoReCa channels as well. In fact, we supply to close to about 2,000 plus, directly to about 2,000 plus HoReCa channels. So we've always believed in an omni-channel approach from day zero. So that's our current distribution strategy.
Nice. So what about you, Param?
So our brand T.A.C, the Ayurveda company. So we are also 100% omni-channel as Bharat's setup. The additional what we are doing is that we are a beauty and a personal care brand. So we have close to 20 odd our own kiosks, which are the smaller setup stores. And our first full stack store is launching on 5th of July, nice. Which is coming up in a tier 2 town in Indore. And additional, we also operate what you see modern day influencer marketing. We drive it offline via our beauty advisor counters. So we run close to 500, 550 beauty advisor counters pan India, where we have our own trained staff, which is ensuring that the new age consumer makes a switch to Ayurveda, and we are giving them that knowledge and awareness around Ayurveda and making a switch from any existing other brand to T.A.C. And other than that, we have a multi-approach. Wherever the consumer is, we have to be there. That's the way forward. And probably each and every one of us, all the founders, all the brand owners are focused, and we do not want to lose any consumer. That's what our journey is.
What about you, Sahil?
Thanks, Charu. Soothe Healthcare is a company that's engaged in manufacturing, distribution, and marketing of personal hygiene products. We have made a significant investments in actually manufacturing with a focus on innovation and differentiation in products. So we manufacture Pari sanitary pads, super cute baby diapers, and super life adult diapers. And Pari is our flagship brand for women's hygiene. We're in the market as an omni-channel company, general trade first, very heavy general trade. Of course, modern trade, e-commerce, etc., and government trade channels as well. And Pari is a masstige brand. Janhvi Kapoor is the brand ambassador, and we do our little song and dance. Pari is, yeah. So that's a very women-oriented company. 80% of our staff is women in the corporate team, and yeah.
Nice. So you said, Param, that it is necessary for brands to have an omnichannel presence to capture more consumers. So can you delve deeper into it and tell us more about how omnichannel presence has actually helped you gain more consumers?
So, Charu, India has seen very different last 2 to 3 years. There was a hockey stick moment when COVID happened. A lot of rush towards all online channels. And suddenly, when we saw that, cost of advertising going up, drastically up, it was not, one single delta. It was almost 4 to 5 times from pre-COVID times to now. And it's not only new brands coming in, it's also that, the legacy brands understanding the new age digital marketing, the flurry of new brands, the flurry of capital that came into. So consumers actually became very aware. They know what they want to buy, right? So in today's era, the consumer has become more aware, and they want to first test and, specifically in our category, actually, first-hand experience of the product, right? What is the product? We are a beauty personal care brand. So people want to test the fragrances, look at the experience, the packaging experience, the efficacy of the product, a one-on-one conversation, which is, say, you can do a personalization chat. So all of those things have made the consumers much more largely aware about what they want to buy. Now this is where for us as a brand, it was very important that we go nearer to the consumer. Wherever the consumer is, we have to be present. So what we were trying to do with technology from our website and Amazon, Flipkart, Nykaa, etc., we started doing differently with our own stores, where we trained our staff, our other beauty advisor counters, where regular shoppers come in, they want to buy a face wash or a face cream or a serum. We give them a personalized consultation, and we ensure that they get awareness around Ayurveda, and we make a switch towards that. So eventually, it's like now a blend of new age tactics of building brand and old age distribution coming together. So this has to be married, and then only you will be able to create a super powerful brand, because omni-channel is the future only.
So, but Bharat, for you, how consumers touch and feel your product being an omnichannel brand? I mean, consumers can buy it online as well after knowing the taste of the coffee once they get addicted.
Yeah.
So, how it is useful for you to go omnichannel?
I think, as Param also mentioned, for every brand, I've always believed, and I don't think that it's the need for today. Even if you look back, 20 years back, when modern trade really came in, a lot of these brands were, they all wanted to be on modern trade, but they were not really understanding. But I think the only real power that a brand has is that wherever, they are present, channel agnostic, the consumer really has an affinity towards the brand, and they're able to have some sort of an emotion when they see the brand online, on the shelf. Obviously, the storytelling is different. The way things are sold in general trade is not exactly how it is sold in modern trade, and not exactly how it is sold in institutional channels, and definitely not how it's sold in online channels. So I think the treatment changes, but I think it always remains the same thing. And I look back from history also, some of the biggest brands that were created, they disrupted channels at that time. They were, for example, Nike is a great example. They were able to go directly to the consumer almost 30 years back because, they had some sort of connections with the fans. So I think the larger theme is that if you have fan following, if there is true brand love, no matter what channel it is, the customers will find you. And if you're not available, I think the customers will want you there. So I think it's for us also, I think that more than the touch, the feel, the look, and all of those other things which are very basic, which have to be there, the biggest thing is availability, and then the right GTM for that. If this is sorted, and if there is fan love, I think that's a great recipe for building a powerful brand.
True that. True. I second your point. But Sahil, I want to know from you, don't you think the more channels there are, the more complexities it is like? Because distribution, you have to get sorted, you have to make sure that the products are available, you have to have the staff over there. So don't you think it's a complex procedure that way?
Yes, of course. But I think let's look at the category. Each of us represent a different category. In my category, only 25% women in India use sanitary pads. 75% still don't, and it's a blue ocean market. And how do you reach those 75%? Bulk of them are in the small kirana general trade shops. Kyun? Why? Because a sanitary pad 25, 30, 40 rupees ka hai. And I can use a marketplace, but that's 40, 50 rupees shipping and handling fee. So my business is not online. Online can be used as a trial or as a premiumization channel, which we do so. For us, we know that our survival, the problem we are trying to solve is that 75% of women don't use it, and we are able to put in place a value, affordable, good quality product in that channel. Also, in our business, there are only 2 or 3 players. So, in a business expected to go from 14,000 crores to 2 lakh crores, because every woman needs a hygienic menstrual hygiene protection. Yeah, no brainer.
Yeah.
कितने का है sanitary pad? 3.25 रुपए का एक piece. महंगी चीज है नहीं. Every woman needs it. So then, what channel do you go, right? यहाँ नोएडा से बाहर तो COD नहीं चलती है ऑनलाइन का, मतलब लूट लेंगे उस बेचारे को. So we have to go offline. So then we build everything in our company basis that, and we use the other channels as experiential channels.
Okay.
Exactly. Touch and feel me, try me, and so on, or premiumization.
So, how do you guys meet the expectations of consumers across all the touch points? Let's start with you, Bharat, first, and then moving to Param and Sahil.
Expectations in what sense exactly? Like in terms of the brand promise?
Yes, so the brand promise, the product, the experience when the consumer comes, try your product, takes your product home from across channels.
Right.
How do they feel? Do you try to give the same experience across all the touch points?
Yeah.
Or you differentiate, maybe when they are at offline, they are getting different experience, online, a different experience.
Yeah.
The biggest benefit of going direct to consumer and why it became such a huge and why it is such a huge thing is you can control the experience. I think more than anything else, the experience is what really kind of matters, and especially to the Gen Z and the millennial customer today who's spending, on discretionary products or also necessities, I would say, but they're willing to experiment more. These consumers really care about the experience, the communication that the brand is driving with them, the mission, the purpose of the brand. So I feel like that's where the direct-to-consumer channel really plays a very significant role today. It's extremely difficult to communicate the mission of the business by sitting on the shelf. It's just human psychology. On the shelf, you would get maximum 4 seconds before somebody looks at the product, decides to buy it or not. And I'm talking about the first time consumer who's not engaged with your brand, who's not trialed your brand, who hasn't experienced your brand ever. So there is lack of control in channels where the trade is involved or where there are multiple parties involved. That today to me is a game of efficiency. The more you're able to control that experience. So for example, I'll give you something that's coming to my mind right now. When we went very heavy on general trade, we put up a QR code on the top of the lid of the jars. Okay. And that QR code was a simple way for consumers to scan that QR code when they bought the product, and they would get to a page of recipes where they were able to look at almost, regularly updated recipes. So that's one example, like how you kind of blend online, offline, experiential product buying versus transactional product buying. So that's what we do. I believe different channels serve different purposes, but the product, the brand promise has to remain the same. When, especially in my category, in fact, all FMCG, I would say, and especially food, the taste that the consumer is really, aspiring in their minds at that moment when they're on a hot summer day outside and they want the taste of that rich cold coffee, they should get exactly that no matter where they are. If they buy it from an online channel, if they buy it from an offline quick commerce, or if they go and buy it from one of the restaurants, it should be the same. And that is not easy. And that's where the complexities come in. But it's work in progress, I feel, for us.
So how do you solve those complexities?
Efficiency. So manpower is like, it's all about the team. People are on the ground. They need to continuously feed it to the trade. The trade needs to be completely involved in the process with you. Simple things like shelf presence, point of sales marketing, activations, wet sampling. So when somebody is sampling a product in the store, there's a SOP guideline that they need to follow. And you can only put up checks and balances to do that. But if they actually, if we do a trial activity at our, let's say, corporate office, it's a completely different experience because we're like EA proportions, this much quantity, this much milk, this temperature. So I feel like you have to be, as an entrepreneur, you have to sometimes be happy with 70%, but that the rest 30% is, especially when you don't have control over the channel, it's work in progress, and it's all related to efficiency of the company. And that's what really makes a great brand differ from an above average brand.
True. So Param, how do you meet the expectations of customers at different touch points?
So, internally we have, set certain guidelines in terms of when we enter a new channel and how do we give exactly same experience, right? Now, for us, it's slightly, in terms of very different because we are not very large in GT as of now, because R is more one-to-one consultation-led sales, be it online, be it offline. it's more personal, bonding that gets created and that gets converted, right? So how we are very sure that because the new age consumer is a source of thrashing also these days,
Yeah.
you cannot, specifically in our category, it's a skincare, it's a hair care, it's a beauty personal care. If one product goes wrong, you can die. Brand can go down, right? So quality, once it has done, then we have tested. There is a massive amount of testing which we do before releasing a new product. Then we ensure that the communication is very standardized, crisp, clear, and transparent across channels. Whatever we are communicating, it remains constant. The way the product is then sold to the buyer, say we are selling from our website or through marketplaces or anyone else, the similar communications from, say, the print that is going, the infographics that are going, the video ad content that is going, or our beauty advisor counters, the way they are communicating, it is as is. There is a clear communication that one has to go. So we use technology both online and offline. We use offline technologies also, keep ramping up our sales force on training, on words that have to be used, on the jargons that have to be used, on the benefits that have to be communicated, so that consumer does not feel that, am I getting a copy of the brand here? Because that's a bigger problem these days, कि मेरे को genuine product am I getting a genuine product or not? Am I getting an absolutely new product? So that's where the bigger problem lies in when you start your omni-channel journey. How do you keep that consistent communication, keep that consistent tonality? The messaging is very constant. Then price parity is something which creates a bloopers in a scale up when your price variation is there. How do you ensure your offers, your pricing, your wherever the consumer is there, the conversion has to happen there. It should not fall off to other channels. That's a bigger problem that's now getting created, because if you're available online or and offline and any channel, right? So you have to ensure that your pricing is also there. So everything, whatever is required, say if there are 10 things that are required to give that one consistent experience, which resonates with brand personality of TAC, that we ensure that it is common and constant across the globe. We have also started our offline, exports business with Dubai and Abu Dhabi markets. So there also we are trying to keep this very, very consistent, that so that that's one thing new age founders can learn from the legacy brand, that the experience and the product consistency remains constant across the globe for large brands. So that's how what we also need to provide to our new age consumers.
Oh, very nice. So, Sahil, what about you?
So for us, where does consumer experience start from? It starts from the research. Like, what does the consumer actually want? So as a femme hygiene company, we first went and asked women, well, what do you want? 8 out of 10 women told us they don't like their current sanitary pads. So we said, well, why? And then we understand the problems, and we actually try to solve those problems. So we maximize our manufacturing, which is self-captive manufacturing, to focus on innovation, to create the solution for that. And that's how we came up with Pari heavy flow ka champion 3 seconds mein absorb karta hai, right? Because we found that surprisingly the number one issue is heavy flow ka. Second number issue is rashes. So we said, all right, we need to solve these problems. When you talk to women across different countries, this problem only exists in India. We said, okay, so let's solve the problem. So product actually is the biggest consumer. We're all product guys. This product is the biggest touch point with the consumer, and ultimately, if product is not king, you're a nobody. So the product has to be the hero. So in our case, Shiro. So we've created a kick-ass product, and that, the bigger you get, the thing about being in general trade is we are present in 250,000 outlets in general trade, few hundred supermarket outlets, and of course online marketplaces. The bigger you are, the simpler you have to be, the simpler the messaging. हम हर जगह पे यही बोलते हैं, परी heavy flow का champion 3 seconds में absorb करता है. That's it. That simplicity has to be there, and scale it, multiply it 1 million times. Last month, 55 lakh girls bought our product, right? So that one thing, find that consumer insight, that unique consumer insight, and hit hard. That's what we're about. And of course, we do sampling. We try to get as many people as possible. Just to give you an insight, for example, we found your period doesn't come on every date, the same date, although it's a 28-day cycle. It varies a few days. And pick any woman's bag, you will find a safety pin, sanitary pad. Like, empty the wallets of the girls in your office and you'll find out kya hota hai usme. That's what she needs. So as part of our go-to market, we said, well, madam, try my product. It's a yeah or nay. Yeah, maybe she buys it or she doesn't buy it. If she doesn't buy it, we say her take a pack of 2, sample pack. She will keep that. She values that. One day she will use it. The moment she uses it, she's mine. हमारा product इतना बढ़िया है, इसे ले.
So you're
So
selling
we
your products on a
consume-
website that way.
Yeah, consumer insight is so critical to your go-to-market success. So we've milked that to the maximum.
Nice, but I want to know which channel actually helps you personalize the experience for the consumers. Bharat, let me ask you about it. So which is the channel which helps you personalize the experience for consumers?
I think personalization is definitely the most possible, where you have the most, direct contact, direct first-party connection with your customers, a very one-to-one connection, which is online, which is not even online. I would say it's your direct-to-consumer channel. And for us, I feel, we started the business exactly, as he was also mentioning, the one insight that we had was that the young consumer, is needing these products, and sensories is important, but the functional kick, the caffeine kick is also equally important. So we built the entire brand around that messaging, and then we went hard and, we kind of hammered it every day of our lives. But where we are today would not have been possible, I think, if we were not very, direct with our consumers in the first year of the business, who I call super fans. First year of the business, we had just one product, and this is 2019, and we had only direct-to-consumer sales, and the target within the company was to achieve a repeat purchase rate of upwards of 35-40%. That would be good, but we ended up at about 60-odd%. And that to me was game-changing, because your entire metrics change, your entire business plan changes. It would not have been possible to build this brand without those super fans who then told 5 more, and then so on and so forth. And then when you're in trade, when especially you're in general trade, for example, it's very hard to sell without a brand pull. Especially the deeper you go in general trade, it kind of rubs on to the effect, the snowball effect, as we call it. So I feel like for us, the journey has been digital first. Today also, we're digital natives. Majority of the spends even today happen digitally for us. And so yeah, but the cash cow of the business is general trade. So that is that. So they're all talking to each other. All of these channels have to talk to each other, but because the consumer is the same. Same consumer is browsing on the phone. The same consumer is then going online. The same consumer is then going to the gym, and then the same consumer is then traveling globally and traveling. In airport pe bhi they're the same people. So I feel like real disruptive brands will be built when the fan love is there, but the fan love doesn't come because they see them on one channel. It's channel agnostic. So, but yeah, online really helps in building that building those super fans.
So, Param, for you, I understand that consumers can actually, you get to know about the consumers via your D2C channel, and you can give the personal experience to them at your offline stores for sure.
So for us, personalization, so our entire business is there. So specifically in the BPC category, even the marketplaces are doing a lot of new ways of giving similar experiences what our websites can also give, because it's all conversation-led conversions, right? Because either it's an influencer which is telling you to buy a product because it has impacted his or her skin or hair or any of the problems, because our products are every typical day-to-day problem for a consumer, right? Skin ke liye, it will be acne, spots, blemishes, pigmentation, under eye, dark eyes, hair fall control. So for us, personalization is the key to success. Where we give one experience on our website, which is an Ayurveda doctor-led consultation, giving that one-to-one, or a WhatsApp conversational commerce that's now currently operational for us. Third, when we work with partners, it's also again same experiences, because all of these large partners have also activated a personalization conversation-led commerce. And fourth, when we had opened our stores, first intent was to create this brand pull before heading to the general trade market for us, as for us, the pack sizes are very different for different markets. When we go to the absolutely larger GT, the pack size is small, the pricing is less, but it needs to have a brand pull to make a switch from an existing face wash to a new brand's face wash. That's why our early stage, that is this first 2 years of business, are going more towards telling what is TAC trying to create and bring you a revolutionary product from an Ayurveda, because Ayurveda predominantly in India has been not adopted by the young generation of the country. And how do you ensure that switch is complete personalization, 360-degree approach for us?
Nice. So he talked about personalization across touch points, and apart from that, other ways which he can engage the consumers. What are the other ways that you are using to engage your consumers?
So again, back to basics. What are we trying to solve? We want our customer to experience something completely differently. So we love engagement. We want customer engagement where we actually say, "Madam, touch my product and see." There's a big difference. So that is what we strive for. That happens most for us is in modern trade, where a woman can come, she can check the pack, look what's happening, and someone can approach her. So we built the business that way, saying, touch my product, touch and feel my product, see the difference. So we love modern trade because we love that customer experience, customer engagement that happens for us maximum over there. Of course, followed by online, where there is an ability to send more messages. But yeah, we maximize these two channels to convey our strengths. Yeah.
So before we close, I want to ask one last question to all of you, that consumer expectations keep on changing now and then. And when we talk about say 5 years from now, they're going to change in a very big way. So what steps of engagement are you planning to take then to meet the expectations across all the touch points?
I think the number one thing is the product itself. I think we cannot ever discount the importance of innovation. I think it's the core for any kind of things that you do today, any category. Building a Me Too product or a copy-paste product is not going to work. Like, that's the biggest thing that I keep telling everyone around me. A lot of my investee companies also, like, innovate, because you don't necessarily need to find a very large gap right off the bat. But for us, I feel like if you're just 2 to 3 years ahead of everyone else, but not 5 years ahead, we will continue to win. Because we're coming from nowhere. We are nobodies. We're just taking away market share or creating newer, markets. As Sahil was also mentioning, one thing which is quite a shock to everybody that I speak to is that, like sanitary pads, which is something that is it's something like which is so basic, necessities and essential. Coffee, when I started, I did, I think, a sampling study of about 150 people. And this is towards the end of my 1-year journey of finding the right product and doing all that primary, secondary researches. I concluded that only 14% of Indians regularly drink coffee. And this is 5 years back. Yeah. Things have changed dramatically now, but, and we've kind of, one of the companies that have led that change. But imagine to just 14, maybe it was 20% or maybe it was 10%, but 1 in 5 people are regularly drinking coffee. And that's, to me, was just mind-blowing. So I feel like innovation is the key. You keep innovating, channel strategies, marketing strategies, branding strategies, all of that will, if you're smart enough and if your team knows how to do it, like you will, and if you're super fans, you will get there. But you cannot sit today without innovation. You cannot get that 22-year-old today who will turn 32 in the next 10 years. You cannot get their attention. And they have so many options. They want to continuously experiment. So I feel like for us, I spend almost 10-15% of my week in just NPD. And it's something that I truly love and enjoy.
That's nice. So Param, what about you? How are you planning to meet the expectations of consumers maybe 5 years from now?
So for us to currently also that's a day-to-day routine. What we have realized, what works for us is, creating a cohesive community, right? We run multiple communities on platforms like WhatsApp and Telegram, which are very core to TAC. And these communities are also very different in each sense. So there is a mother community, there is a college-going student community, there is a gym and free fitness community because we do nutraceuticals and sexual wellness also. We now have started men community also, because we are developing every product almost as a crowdsourcing company, right? We work with them, we understand their problems, we keep on testing products when we have to launch. We also ensure that what kind of packaging they love, what kind of pricing they are looking at, fragrance-free fragrances, textures. So if they have to apply an Ayurveda product, because Ayurveda has always had, pungent smells, only few brands brought out very different fragrances. How would they relate to an Ayurveda product, say, if it has to be applied as a nose strip, as an under eye strip? So how do you really, engage with the consumers? This is where we currently work upon. We run 8 to 10 communities where our, day to day lot of interactions. They become your, actual first tester, first consumers, then also the brand promoters gradually, and they also help you to keep looking at new problems to solve, because new age consumers are getting to face new problems. So much access to content, so much
screen time.
blue light radiations coming onto screen. There'll be new problems that are coming on skin, so they themselves are telling us what they do, what they need, right? So it started when we wanted to launch brand. We had a 700-800 people that we surveyed when we were meeting, me and Shida, when we were on our trips. And then we now have formalized that way in our business, day-to-day business, that there is a core different communities which our teams run, just to keep very close hook to the consumer. Because not even 5 years is too long now. 2 years, 3 years, if there is another wave of COVID type, the market will get disrupted in a different.
Cross our fingers.
So, we can wish that it doesn't happen, but there are larger forces that want it to happen, because then only economy goes to a different level, right? So it will create more opportunities in the future, right? So, but how do you are, ahead of the curve to innovate on the products, right? That's the success this is the key to success for us, actually.
What about you, Sahil?
So the short answer is same but different. So we have a property called the Heavy Flow Champion, right? So we found something with a lot of digging and research, consumer insights, that this is a valuable property, and we created that. Now, ultimately, because of the consumer preferences, the way we consume content and the external environment, I mean, I recently heard that we have a 3-second, 4-second scan. Goldfish have a 9-second memory. Like, hamara aise chala jata hai. So how do you keep innovating a message in the same? So same but different. So we say, okay, if heavy flow is important to her, how can I convey the same message differently? Because I need to say the same thing differently. We can't keep creating new coffee every day, new pad every day. देखो, the good news about my business is come rain, shine, flood, war or COVID, period होने वाले हैं, बच्चा सुसु करने वाला है, right? So we are a consumer essential. So I have to do the same thing differently, and that's what we focus on. So the short answer is I spend a lot of time on NPD and innovation and consumer research, because that keeps us tuned to how can I continue to talk to her and continue to meet her needs, and at the same time be relevant. So I think relevance is that word that we are trying to be, relevant to her.
That's nice. It's a pleasure talking to all of you over here. Hope you also enjoyed this conversation. Keep watching such series at ETRetail. And if you want to delve more into the insights about the e-commerce and digital native brands, catch us at the e-commerce and digital native summit happening on 9th and 10th of August in Bangalore. Till then, bye.